Hello, my name is Jeff Dembinski and I'm applying for the sales engineer position at Salesforce for the New York City office. Today I'm going to provide you with a live demonstration of the Google Maps product. Before I do that, I thought I'd give you a little introduction or information about myself. I actually do live in Manhattan. I've been here for about 12 or 13 years. And to get here, it's been a long and winding road, to say the least. I was actually born in Chicago, Illinois, grew up in Naples, Florida, joined the military right after I graduated from high school in Naples, and spent some time in San Diego for boot camp, and then Vallejo, California for my technical training. And then I was stationed on board an aircraft carrier at the USS George Washington for 5 years, where I did 3 Mediterranean cruises. So those are 3 blocks of 6 months at a time, where you're strictly out to sea in the Mediterranean, visiting different ports and standing different duty stations as an aircraft carrier, different missions. And I got to see a lot of the world. I got to see things like Spain, Italy, France. I saw Israel. I went through the Suez Canal, Saudi Arabia, lots of different cultures, lots of different things to see. Once I left the military, I joined Booz Allen Hamilton out of Norfolk, Virginia, which was where I was at the time, and worked for them and their communications project, where I would go to 26 different sites across the United States. So more domestic travel now that I was out of the military. And again, still, there was a lot of things to see, a lot of things to do in those areas. Since I had to travel there for work, I thought I would make the most of it, because one of my passions is making the most of my time, that especially travel time, whether that travel be for work or for pleasure. And I feel that the best way to maximize that time, I feel the best way to enhance all of that is through the use of Google Maps. So that's why I decided to demonstrate this product to you today. So people would ask me, with all of this travel, were you ever freaked out about going to a foreign country and maybe there's a language barrier? Were you nervous about not being able to get to your work site on time? Did you know whether there was public transportation there or not? Where did you decide to eat? All of those sorts of things. And to me, it was never a factor. I'm of the age of technology, so I've always had access to Google Maps. And so I've been able to explore the universe with a sense of direction and confidence. Why I love Google Maps and why you'll love Google Maps is because it is very easy to use. It's mobile. It's very dependable. I say dependable because Google is constantly updating and adding new information to the platform as a whole. For instance, you might have seen some of those cars with the cameras on top as Google drives through the different streets of New York City, and that's so that they can give you the street view of New York City. That way, when you look up an address, you want to make sure the building is actually the building you're supposed to be going into, because maybe the number of the address is not on the building, or the building number is not on there. You have a street view to verify that that is in fact where you're supposed to be. And then exploration. I have to travel a lot for work. I had to travel to those 26 different sites. I had to travel while I was in the military. And I wasn't familiar with the area, so I thought I would look at the different attractions, see what the tourists were doing, see what the locals were doing, and mix and match a combination of touristy stuff with local attractions in order to enhance my experience while I traveled. Always made it more fun, whether it was for vacation or whether it was for work. Oh, a little too soon there. So let's go into the demonstration. The first part I'd like to demonstrate is actually the mobile part. For this demonstration, we're going to assume my story. My story is that when I first started working for EMC, after about a year, I was told that I had to go to Paris, France, and I was told that I would be staying in a certain hotel and where my work site was. Those were the only really accurate pieces of information that I got. So we'll get into looking up that information from the desktop. I wanted to start with the mobile stuff just to show you that it is a mobile platform. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that once my trip was initiated or in action, I had to get to the airport. So the first thing I wanted to do was figure out how I was going to get to the airport. So this is what I did. I pulled up Google Maps on my iPhone. It should be coming up in just a second. There we go. So here's Google Maps. It automatically opens to my home location. I have entered my home address and my work address So right here where it says try home, it says try home. I've set that address. That's why it defaults to it. It defaults to your current location, but if I need to get home, I can type in home instead of my full address. One of the nice benefits of adding your home and work information. But I wanted to know, once I left home, how I was going to get to JFK, which is where my flight was leaving from. So you can see here JFK Airport's about an hour and 8 minutes away by car, on this time of day specifically. But I wanted to see my options. So here, my location from home to JFK, it integrates very nicely with other products, including Uber, Lyft, Get, as you can see on the screen. So I can take a poll of the different prices that I might pay if I were to use one of those services. I also know that there is a public transportation route, and it gives me all of that information here about public transportation, using the A train and using the air train once you get to one of the locations that the air train is available. This helps me decide, whether I'm balancing my time and frustration versus whether I'm balancing the costs that it might be to take the Uber or the Lyft or the Get. So very helpful. So that's what I did on the day of departure. Prior to that, though, I had spent some time doing some research about the hotel and its surroundings. I knew I was staying at the Marriott, Paris Marriott, Rive Gauche Hotel. It's here in my cache because I've been searching for it for a little bit. Here's the location. I mean, I'm not from Paris, so that it doesn't tell me much. I know that I will be landing at Charles de Gaulle Airport, so I want to get directions to the hotel from the airport. So I click on the directions, and I'm going to enter my starting location of the airport. And just like I did on my mobile device, I'm going to look here on my desktop client, or on the web-based interface on my desktop, the different options. A driving option if I were actually to rent a car, but I wasn't. There is a transit option, a rail option. Obviously, I'm not going to walk. That's a very long walking distance. So we went with the rail. And what made it really nice for me was I was able to take this information, send it to my phone, so that during my research right away, I've already went ahead, sent it to my phone. It's in a saved location. And when I arrive at Charles de Gaulle, if I didn't print it out, it's still in my phone. I can pick it up, see what stop I get on, see what stop I get out, which is all here in the details information, which is sent to the phone. Very nice for me. Okay, so once I got to the hotel, I wanted to see what was in the area of the hotel. What restaurants would I be visiting? What nightclubs might there be? What attractions were there? Things like that. So here we go. We click on nearby, and it asks you, what do you want to see? Hotels, bars, pubs, or restaurants? I'm a foodie. I wanted to see what restaurants were out there. So I clicked on restaurants, and I started researching within the vicinity of a walking distance, which ones were close, which ones had the highest stars. I was even able to read through some of the reviews that people were leaving about these particular restaurants, as you can see here, and the overall star rating. So it was very helpful for me to discern between what I wanted to spend my time on and what was probably, since the locals live there every day and visit those locations, better take their advice and not visit those locations if they're having bad experiences. So that's a day in the life of using the Google Maps. One more thing. So now I was at the hotel. I knew I wanted to see some of the sights. Obviously, the Eiffel Tower is one of the things you have to see when you're in France, Paris especially. So I did a search for Eiffel Tower. I wanted directions. Destination Eiffel Tower, starting point was my hotel, which was Paris Marriott Rive Gauche. And it tells me, again, I can look at the different ways to get there, by car, by transit, or walking. What I actually decided to do was, because since the walking time was, to me, not so bad, I took the train to get there quickly so that I could actually visit the Eiffel Tower, go up inside of it and climb the Eiffel Tower. And then I would walk back just so I could see the rest of Paris and see some of the sights along the walking path. So again, I sent these directions to my phone. I had the walking directions playing through the audio. That way it would tell me turn-by-turn directions. I didn't have to pull up my phone and look like a tourist. I was able to get from point A to point B with confidence, and that alone provided security, because I wasn't in fear of being mugged or anything like that. Because muggers will pick out people that are carrying around phones and looking for directions and things like that. But with all of the interfaces that Google Maps provides, it made it very easy for me to get from place to place confidently, quickly, and it would figure in for all of the different things like traffic or pedestrian traffic or delays within the public transit system. So very helpful. So once I got there to the Eiffel Tower, I took this picture from the outside. These are my own pictures. This is what I'm passionate about when I travel. My favorite mementos are the ones that I create or make myself. And so I always like to find a very scenic picture to take. This one is from the outside. I really like that one. And this one to the right, it just seemed rather artsy to me, so I thought I would include it. But it's mine. And when I hang these on my wall and map them, it adds to the experience of my travel, whether it was for work or for pleasure. So overall, just in summary, Google Maps is a very easy to use, and it's available on your mobile devices, whether that be Android or iOS. And Google Maps provides reliable data because they constantly add and update information to the platform all the time. So the next time someone asks you whether you're nervous about your travel, whether it be foreign or domestic, you should be able to tell them no. You should know now that Google Maps is there to help you, to guide you, to get you where you need to be. So what I would suggest is go ahead and download the application to your mobile device now, expand your horizons with confidence, and go out and explore. Thank you very much.